And first of all, Kenyans and listeners, please pat yourself on the back and say, kudos, kudos, kudos. And this is because the outpouring love that you gave that young man called Kaluma Boy. The story of Kaluma Boy has touched many Kenyans. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, is that there's a young man who has been documenting their father's struggle with stroke in Othaya, Nyeri. And many TikTokers, all TikTokers out there, I just want to tell you, salute to what you did yesterday, descending in Othaya with all your phones, with their TikTok rave and all that, and going to put that town, the sleeping Othaya town, into the map of Kenya in solidarity with Kaluma Boy. What I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is that this was not just a viral moment. It was a profound narrative of filial devotion, personal struggle, and immense power of community in the digital age. A nation often grappling with economic and social disparities, and this young man's journey is an overwhelming support on September 28th has become powerful tool and shows Kenyans are actually very united. And if you don't know, the Gen Zs who went to Othaya to see what Kaluma, the personal struggle Kaluma has been undergoing, a 17-year-old boy taking care of his father who suffered stroke and cannot get a physiotherapist to help him get back on his feet. So Kenyans, you did as well. You did that town a massive favor by descending there with their phones and actually contributing and making sure that Kaluma does not feel alone. Vincent Kaluma does not feel neglected with his father alone, but you showcased what Kenyans stand for. And Kenyans really stand for many things. Kenyans stand for giving, Kenyans stand for forgiving, Kenyans stand for solidarity. And apart from our bad politics, I can tell you there is no republic like Kenya, because the devotion we have in helping one another, it shows that we can build our republic into something spontaneous, highly organized, and away from political class. So my view is that the coming together of you, and if you contributed whatever you did to that young man called Vincent Kaluma, be it in shillings, be it in cents, be it physically, wherever you traveled from, just to make sure that this young man gets the moral support. It showcases the undefeated spirit of being a true patriot and a true Kenyan. And Kenyans, we are reflecting on where should we be if our health system is well managed. Where should we be if our education system is well taken care of? Where could we be if our social systems are working and economic systems are working? So Vincent Kaluma's case and many other needy cases in this country where people come together to elevate one another, to lift up one another, showcases the true spirit of a good republic. And I just want to say kudos, ladies and gentlemen, for what you did yesterday, for showcasing what is rarely seen, what people did not anticipate. And from SpiceFM, we say, hey, keep it up, man. It is always the best thing to do, to help one another who is in need. And it's a bit of a reflection. The gentleman, there's one of the Kenyan scientists who passed on. It's called Professor Arthur Obel.
Yeah.
Professor Arthur Obel was famous. And actually now, that brings us to what I wanted also to discuss with you.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a reflection. The gentleman, there's one of the Kenyan scientists who passed on. It's called Professor Arthur Obel.
Yeah.
Professor Arthur Obel was famous for his research capability, but also infamous because of his
There was a lot of controversy in his time.
Around his time, but he could flip very fast as well.
Yeah.
And he could shoot.
Well, I mean, on one hand, I kind of applaud him for, bringing the first cases of HIV.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know what this guy did, he was among the first scientists who brought into surface and into the public limelight about the HIV virus, which had obviously affected a lot of people. And then he found himself in deep waters when he came with, or rather developed two medications. That was Cameron and Pal Omega. So, on one hand, you can appreciate that he was among the first people to identify the disease itself. You can appreciate that was necessary. Imagine if it had not been brought to the public's space.
Yeah.
People would have continued having sex without protection and so on and so on. And so you can appreciate what he did. But that being said, because he was a researcher, he also came up with these two medicines. And they kind of bypassed that regulatory body that is supposed to, I think it's called KEBS. I don't know which one. I don't know whether it's the same body for medicine.
The pharmaceutical body.
The pharmaceutical body. Yeah. So he bypassed those regulators and he put this medicine, Cameron and Pal Omega. And he told his patients that this would cure. And as we know, HIV and AIDS does not have a cure. And so he got sued, actually.
Yeah.
I think that was in 1998.
Yes.
He served
some
during...
of the patients actually sued him.
Yeah, some of the... Yeah, I mean...
But give it to him, because when he was saying that the big pharma companies did not allow the African research to develop it to the level he would have loved to develop it.
Yeah.
Because, you see, medicine in the world is a cartel.
Yes.
Where the big pharmas are from the West.
And we actually saw that during COVID's time, when we saw there was only a handful of companies that could produce a vaccine. There was, what's this name? The names that during COVID's period, there was only Purdue Pharma.
Yes.
There's huge conglomerates in the States, Moderna and so on and so forth. Yes. But there was only a few of them that distributed to the whole world.
Because they didn't allow other people
to exactly for profit purposes. Yeah.
So I think that was one of the issues.
Yeah.
So of Arthur Bell, even if and this is what ails most of African research.
Yes.
Because African research has not been accepted on the table.
Yes.
Like the way the Indians have forced their research at the Chinese. Remember, the Chinese and the Indians had been put down for a very long time by the Western counterparts about research on medicine.
Yes.
But they have refused that kind of being put down. And you can see a lot of Indian medicine. That's why they have a lot of generic.
Yeah.
And they also have traditional medicine, which is basically either Chinese or Indian. But African medicine, for example.
It has not gone mainstream because, I think there is this whole nonsense of our medicine. The perception itself, I think it's killing us. The perception that we are incapable of, creating medicine that can outmatch or be at the same pace with the medicine that is being produced in the West. It's just a condescending attitude towards our researchers and towards our doctors, and it is unfortunate. Unfortunately, that's the reality, though.
No, it's unfortunate because if, for example, we had that capability, and we had that ability to be allowed to play on the same level.
Yes.
Probably Pal Omega and Cameron would have been developed into a better medicine.
Yes.
Because now there would be more rigor, more research behind them, more teams behind it.
Yeah.
The country would have marketed it.
Yeah.
And then it could have gone to the scientific journals for critiquing.
For critique. Peer, I think they call it peer research.
Peer research. And also for testing.
Yeah.
And then we would have said, you know what? Pal Omega is hogwash. Or this Cameron is bullshit.
Yes.
But since we are not allowed or given that opportunity as Africans
to
debate, to research, to review together as peers with the rest of the world, then that condescending attitude really kills.
And I think this is where the African Union needs to step up. Because we need to ensure that we have our own research institutes that can be able to champion these doctors and these researchers, so that we can put them in the market. If the Westerners have no business doing research with us, I think it's fair to say that we can collaborate with other African nations, and we can do away with Western research.
And also, we can, I think,
or perhaps even just the advent of us having an African Union that functions in that direction can, bring or attract Westerners to come and research with us.
So when would we, for example, then, because African medicine has traditionally been known to be one of the best treatment methods.
Yes.
And we have enjoyed this thing.
Do you actually rely on herbs yourself?
Yes,
do you take herbs?
I do.
Yeah.
Throughout, if you go to Maasai land, they know exactly what ails you and they'll give you a herb.
Yeah.
And it can be mainstreamed.
Yeah.
Why haven't we managed to mainstream our herbal medicine that if you go to hospitals, you can say, instead of this Panadol, get me this one with the same dosage.
Yeah. I think it just boils down to the attitude itself. Yeah. We just have very brainwashed institutions that have placed all their beliefs, or rather all their confidence, in Western medicine, and isolating and sequestering African traditional methods and deeming them inferior. I think that's the problem here, because you're right. When we go to our traditional households, and for example, the other day I had a terrible migraine, and my grandma, put some spices and some herbs, and it was green tea. It did the job. But then when we come to, trying to institutionalize or trying to dig deep and invest on research, I think what ails us, and I think the problem is the attitude that people have towards African medicine and African traditional methods that actually have been very effective in the past, right? And I don't know why we don't have a lot of people lobbying for this, but it's something that we should definitely pay attention to.
I agree 100% we should. But now, back to Obel, something which really made me very happy is that one time, Professor Bell was also a maverick.
Right.
A maverick in that he used to have an office in the CBD somewhere near Norwich Union.
Yeah.
And one afternoon, the way matatus block the path.
Yeah.
So he was trying to get out of the office to run to his home laboratory. He had some specimen he really needed to check in an hour so that he can make his research findings.
Yeah.
And the way our matatus are crazily arrogant, ignorant, and they don't give a hoot.
Yes, there is that element, we call it lack of courtesy.
Completely. Yeah. So Professor stepped out of his car and told him, please, can you allow me to pass, and then you can bring back your matatus here?
Yes.
I just pass.
Yeah.
The guy told him, one of the conductors told him, you can jump over.
Well, that's a very silly statement to make.
Professor had a temper.
Right.
He walked into his car, and in the back seat, he had a shotgun.
Really?
He unleashed it and shot towards the Makanga. The door.
He actually fired?
He fired.
Shots fired?
Fired.
Yeah.
So what happened? He missed the Makanga, though. But the door of the matatu fell off. And everyone scattered. It was a whole melee.
Right. So, wow.
Professor
But I'm sure that matatu driver still to date cannot, if he's still a conductor.
So Professor passed. And those guys went to police.
Obviously creating allegations against. Yeah.
And the question was, if they had not stopped the Who carries a shotgun first? Which
Well,
professor carries a shotgun?
listen. I know one thing for sure, CEO, that there's a handful of gangsters.
Yes.
In Nairobi, there's a handful of people who have lived in the United States, and they still believe in that indelible American First Amendment right.
Wild West.
No. I think it's the Second Amendment, which allows Americans to carry and bear firearms, and it's like a God-given right. And I know for sure, I've met a few people here in Nairobi who still carry firearms. but for that incident that you have just narrated,
Yes.
I'm telling you, bruh, like, he must have really had a temper.
Serious temper.
To
go and unleash a shotgun behind
Yeah. He had a very short fuse. Short.
So that's when we remember Professor Bell, apart from the big research and trying to develop the medicine,
Yeah.
he also had those moments. These moments are the reflections of a great man.
But I think we should just, remember the good that he did by bringing this issue to the public.
Yeah, sure.
Because, the unfortunate part, when you look at it, is if he hadn't done what he did,
Yes.
which is bring this to the attention of many Kenyan people and the public, AIDS would have taken, a lot more people. And I think he played the role of CDC director as well.
Yeah.
That was from, I think, 1995 to 1999 during Maury's era.
Yeah.
But you can also appreciate that his research and his work enabled people to at least be a little bit more cautious when it comes to, engaging in relationships, and also bringing the educative aspect of how to protect ourselves against HIV virus. And I think that's what I'll remember him for. The good work that he did in his...
So I think the two people we remember today, first is the Kaluma boy.
The Kaluma boy, yeah.
And now Professor Obel.
All family members in one passenger vehicle.
Yeah,
right.
Perished in that Nissan.
That's very unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. It's uncalled for because we cannot be losing so many people on our roads because of negligence, carelessness, and impatience. I don't know what you think of this accident that has left the country stunned.
Listen, first of all, our condolences here from SpiceFM to those afflicted by this horrific accident. We hope that you get strength from God to carry you through this solemn moments. In that being said, I think that, someone is responsible for this, and it's someone who's reckless, and it's someone who shouldn't probably have been on the roads. This is someone who should not have been driving this passenger vehicle, and someone who's probably unqualified to be on the roads. And it's one of those things, CEO, where we do want to, point a finger and say that the driver was reckless. But I would go as far as to say this is a systemic issue on our roads. There's a period where, Michuki came along and he was very strict, and we kind of need someone as strict as Michuki to come back and reinforce good driving etiquette. And the problem that I have realized, CEO, is that we have this trend where our young drivers who are conductors decide that they want to graduate and become drivers. And instead of going to a driving school, they ask the driver to teach them.
And so squads.
Yeah, give acha niende squad moja. Unaona? Acha niende squad moja, and then as soon as he knows how to drive,
he's on the road.
But there is a lot of elements and there is a lot of aspects when it comes to driving that ensure safety of other motorists and ensure safety of the driver himself and the passengers. And the problem is that now that young matatu conductor who has now graduated to become a driver doesn't go to driving school. And through a duplicitous means, he gets the driving license, and now unampeleka Nakuru. He starts, he calls himself a qualified driver. That is the problem that we have. The problem that we have is that we do not have checks and balances of accountability when we are vetting who is on that driver's seat, especially when it comes to these matatu passengers vehicles. All right, we need to have a more rigorous vetting process.
Yeah.
And the problem is that at the moment we just don't have that.
And also a country which, and I agree with you, a country which does not take care of its transport system.
Yes.
The biggest problem with such countries is accidents. Because you look at the Western world, the most controlled system.
Oh, it's very
is
strict.
Transport.
Oh my God, it's very, very strict.
Because you think this is where you transport your population.
Yeah.
They go to work, they go to meet their to build the economy.
Yeah.
So it has to be in the control of the government.
It has to be in the control of the government.
It must be.
Yeah, and you know what? There is this discussion of how far can a government go, and the government does become involved in our lives. Especially, the only place where the government is actually allowed to violate our rights is when they enforce things like traffic rules.
Yes.
They enforce wearing safety belts, because that is where the government says, all right, we are trying to protect your life. And we are seeing a government that is a little bit becoming more delinquent on those responsibilities, which you have said in the West, it's very strict, man.
Strict.
You do something silly on the road, people will call the cops, and the cops can be relied upon not to just stop you and get a fine or a hongo out of you, but also to enforce the penal codes of traffic violations. So, for example, if you go to, I remember when I was a very young man, I traveled to Bangkok, and I went to near the border of Bangkok and Laos, and I got arrested there. It was a minor traffic infraction because I was not wearing a safety belt, because I had leased a vehicle and I was driving, and the cops gave me a fine, and I think it was about $100 or something of the sort. But when we come to our system, is like we don't have a system that enforces, or rather tries to deter people from these violations, which should be the ultimate point of police officers being on our roads, is to ensure that not just to remind you that you have done something wrong, right, that you have violated traffic rules, but also to give you a ticket as a deterrent and to show other people that ukileta ujinga kwa barabara tutakufine.
Yeah.
But that system is non-existent in Kenya, or if it is existent, then it's obviously corrupt, and that's what caused this accident. Is because we have so many incompetent drivers. I have to say that.
Yeah, very many.
It is a harsh thing to say.
Yeah, but
tukona
drivers.
tufalafala huku tulifundishwa inaitwanga driving school muitu.
You are just given a car, just try.
So long as you can, so long as you can make the car move forward and you can do reverse, then that's it. You're qualified drivers.
But you remember the way they are, and by the way, remember that these things happen. Even these places you go around here in town, you find people who train people to drive.
Yeah.
They're not qualified.
They're not qualified.
In the fields, in Eastland.
They're not qualified.
In Kariobangi, if you go to the matatu industry. So there are so many drivers who do not get their documents correctly.
Exactly. And there are so many so-called institutions, nani institutions muitu, driving school muitu, where you have your uncle knew how to drive, kwa hivyo he's channeling and then he shows you how to drive. That should not be the case, because it is going to be adversely affect the lives of many Kenyans who are just trying to get from one place to the other.
I think it's very unfortunate for a family to lose.
And you actually had raised a very poignant point, CEO.
Yeah.
The issue of that family traveling all together in one road. What was your take on that?
You see, naturally, I always believe that as a family, try to get other alternative means of transport, because
don't you think that's a little bit superstitious?
It is superstitious, but remember that if these families were not going to pick one another because of one driver who is careless, who well trained.
Yeah.
All of them are perished.
See, but the things here,
They
you
were
need to
sitting
understand.
ducks,
Listen,
all of
see
them.
here, when these things happen, unfortunately, and this is something that we have to take into account.
Yeah.
It's not like they had a clue that this driver was going to be either drunk or incompetent or just doesn't have the experience of being a qualified passenger driver. Because I think that when we are putting these people to transport cargo or, it's the same thing. When we are flying from one place to the other, you expect, right, that the pilot is qualified. He has done his 10,000 hours of practice, and he's qualified. I think we should have a similar rigor and vetting process when it comes to our drivers.
I agree,
especially
100%.
when it comes to our passenger drivers. And so, listen, it is unfortunate. I'm not sure I can lean in towards the superstition of ati when we are traveling to Mombasa. I'm not sure I'm that superstitious, although there is some merits to what you're saying. But I think basically what we should do is try and have the government get involved in ensuring that we have safe roads through safe drivers, competent drivers. That it is inappropriate for the hospital to lack a system where they can get into some sort of arrangement that on how they will recoup the money. And I think it needs to be enforced because, do you know what, CEO, we have to look at it from the hospital's perspective as well. We don't want the hospitals to lose their money.
We don't
want. Okay, they also have
to do business,
but they also have they also have a duty of care, and they are in business. Obviously, there are certain costs that once the hospital incurs, they'd like to recoup, and they would like to make a fair bit of profit that would otherwise get that hospital to be a sustainable business. That being said, as well, there has to be a modicum of kindness and duty of care, and I suppose goodness when it comes to how these hospitals conduct themselves. It needs to be incorporated as a moral type thing, where it is inappropriate for the hospital to say, you know what, once your loved one has passed on, that there is no arrangement. Tutakuja na rungu, lazima ulipe. I think that the hospitals needs to be a little bit more sensible. And I feel like that's what's lacking at the moment. It's a system that would say, all right, you could pay in installments and therefore leave this collateral. Or a caveat where, as a family, these are the other options. And an option that is legally binding, and an option where the family will not be able to abscond with the owed funds, okay? Because I think that the hospital also fear. See, this is a leverage play type thing, okay? Where the hospital feels like if they go with their body and is buried, in perpetuity.
Yes.
Right? And that's why they are refusing. And so I think that, the government should be involved in not just because now we'll have a lot of cases in court because now this judge has actually set a precedent.
Of course.
Right? By ensuring that this family gets their loved one from the hospital, I think the judge has set a precedent. And now you'll see more and more families going to the court and using that as a precedent. Right? We could not be able to pay, judge, I need you to interfere. Write a writ of mandamus saying that this hospital should allow our loved one to go.
To be buried.
Yeah. I think you will see a surge in those cases.
Yeah.
And I don't think that is sustainable because they will also put hospitals at a disadvantage. What is more sustainable is, in my view, create a system that would allow loved ones to collect the deceased, bury them in peace, because these are very hard times for the afflicted family members. Okay, and so the hospital should be a little bit sensible in allowing a caveat that says, okay, I'm going to work with you on this. There should be a system that allows you to pay us long after your loved one has been buried. What do you think about that, CEO?
You see, I think you've really nailed the issue on its head. But my biggest problem with the hospitals has always been that they do not agree to any alternative means of payment, because people have even tried in the past to give even post-dated checks and say, for example, we just need to bury. In fact, they don't come empty-handed. The families have never asked for the body of their relatives empty-handed.
They understand
they understand the situation that this is a business. Most of the time they come with maybe the bill is 3 million and they have raised 1.5. And they say here is 1.5 million. This 1.5, we are willing to pay 500 this check, deposit this time, this one. But the hospitals are always adamant that you must release
you should
amount.
Pay. And
I would, in a week.
I would even imagine, CEO, that what makes it worse is that you'll also have to pay for the period.
In the morgue.
In the morgue.
Yes.
So not only have you haven't cleared the hospital bills, but there is also other charges that you incur. The morgue fees. It is crazy. It's crazy.
You know, in Kenya, funnily enough, we bury maximum 2 weeks.
If we go that's if kama familia yako inajiweza.
But 90%, if you go to West Africa, let me shock you. My friend from Nigeria, JWA, is a guy who does business. Gogo Junior, we call him.
He's in the morgue business.
Brother.
He's in the morgue business.
No, he does fintech. But
right.
His brother was a Ghanaian player, Junior Gogo, who was in the African Cup of Nations. Fantastic striker. So the father passed on. You know, Ghanaians take a year, and Nigerians to bury.
Why? What's the point of that?
They celebrate the person for a year.
What if that person was only 2 years old?
The older you are, they celebrate you for a year.
Right.
So I was, my friend Agogo was telling me the other time that, I'm preparing my father's funeral. I'm like, my friend, but
your father died last year.
Long time ago. He said, in Ghana, we do not bury after a week. It is a ceremony which it is celebrated for a whole year.
Is that even possible to celebrate someone who's passed on for a whole year?
That's when you take the body for burial.
And in Nigeria, listen. I have absolute respect for other people's culture. I just fail to connect and reconcile how that would do in my culture. In fact, and you know this, Muslims bury their loved ones after 7 days. In a day. Quick chop.
It's easy.
Your story is gone.
If someone drops,
we incinerate you, and that's it. And then we shall be talking and celebrating your memories
for 40 days.
Long after we have dealt with your body, which needs to decompose or which needs to be incinerated, and so on and so forth, right? I don't know, but I just feel like that's more sensible. But then again, you know what I mean? Like, this is where you have to be mindful and respect of others' cultures. But then you have to ask as well, like, mwaka mzima, how much money?
1 year.
1 year. See, if you tell me that, I would reason, you could have offset this celebration money to paying the hospital bills.
So for them,
or to getting some new medicine.
That's why I was coming, that for them, I think the hospital bill wouldn't be such a problem.
Oh, yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. So they have already taken care of that.
Yeah, because their culture allows them a big headway to handle the dead body, which is almost a year.
Yeah.
So they can raise that money in that time.
Yeah.
But for our cultures in Africa, in this other side of the world, it becomes very difficult because we want to bury immediately. And after the burial, we want to finish and get back to our normal businesses and normal lives.
Actually, if you're not coming from a well-off family and you had not, there's sometimes people have, fatal type diseases where the family gets that time to, put together funds, prepare in advance.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But there are families where, your loved one has been stabbed, it's probably through crime or through an accident, and then the medical expense start piling up and you're not prepared. And I think the sad fact is, it's just sad that hospitals are refusing with people's bodies. And I'll also ask the same question that the judge has asked. What's the point of keeping these bodies in the hospital? I understand that you're using it as leverage, but I just think it's far too cruel for our country to allow this to happen. And I think the government should be involved, quite honestly, where the government can offset some of that invoice through SHA. The Ministry of Health should be involved.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way to go.
They know. Yeah. The Standard newspaper today had a very good headline. It was
Bandits in uniform.
Bandits in uniform.
Yeah.
The police officers who have been abetting cattle rustling in North Rift. And their pictures, and they have been, some of them have been interdicted, and others have been
ignominiously framed on the forefront of the newspaper. and that's I've been trying to find the proper vocabulary.
Yes.
To
describe these characters.
To describe these characters.
Yeah.
They have been ignominiously framed
Yeah.
on the front of the newspaper.
Yeah.
Shame on this.
Shame on them.
Abetting castle wrestling. Yes,
man. North Rift it's a whole problem.
Yeah.
We even sent the military there, and we've been wondering, why do these guys have guns and drive so many? Yeah, they're fighting back all the time. So now we've realized that actually there are police officers who have been the men behind it.
Mm.
So they know, they have ammunition, they have coordinations, they have logistical support. So these are not just boys who are raiding other villages.
No, they are boys who are sent to address that problem.
Yeah.
And then they became part of the problem itself. Because I would imagine that they saw the need to go to the North Rift to address this issue of cattle rustling. Obviously, there is the government playing a role in sending ammunitions and the tools necessary to keep those thieves and cattle rustlers at bay. But then these officers thought, you know what, this is an opportunity
to make money.
and it is very sad. For gentlemen, it's all in the newspaper, and I don't know. Do you think that there is someone on the take behind the scenes?
I think
behind the curtains. I mean, how did these boys gain access? Because I can see that some of them were actually arrested.
Yes.
On the way to Turkana to deliver ammunition.
Yeah.
Only that the plan was obviously to take a detour. But obviously someone must have sanctioned these transactions. There is someone on the take here.
But we can see there are 4 gentlemen, and some of them are from the armory.
Yeah, but I mean, like, don't they have systems of accountability when it comes to procurement of ammunitions, bullets, and so on and so forth?
I think this gentleman just bypassed the system. And
they found a loophole.
They found a loophole because you are supposed to register, and probably they were registered during the wrong ones, or they would say that they've been used in fighting crime and all that.
Right.
But they're actually sending these ammunitions to go and cattle rust, steal animals, because you see the biggest problem is that the population in the North Rift, the cattle keepers, do not have the firepower to repel a group of youths
who have sophisticated weaponry. Yes,
who are coming for your animals. So when you are just sitting duck, so when they come in,
listen,
and they have logistical support,
these these shepherds, we call them, right?
Yeah.
Wachunga kondo.
Ngombe.
Wachunga ngombe.
Yes.
So they are still shepherds, right?
Yes.
My advice to them, they should negotiate.
With who?
with these cattle rustlers.
How do you negotiate with
So you
guys?
give them a couple of cows. So that's how what they want, right?
No, they don't want. They take the whole herd. What are you talking about? They know.
There's no negotiation.
Then they kill people.
Listen, I'm a little bit. I feel like I'm very disconnected with this world of cattle rustling, but you can't tell them, chukua ng'ombe tatu, achana mimi.
But let me tell you, the people in the northern
jamaa wanakaa, they were
North
starving.
Rift, there are people who keep very many animals. You have
Like large herds of cows and
like 200-300, and then these guys come raid, and they raid a whole village, and they disappear with 1,000 animals. So they are driven into Kerio Valley where you cannot reach, and if you try to protest, you are killed. So it has been a long-running battle.
Right.
A problem because these animals find their way to the dinner table. The people who do not work for or anything, they just go and buy.
And it makes sense, because if they are selling these armories to cattle rustlers, that means they're also selling them on the streets of Nairobi. That means that bandits in Nairobi can easily access firearms, and it is illegal in Kenya to acquire a firearm without the proper documentation from the CID headquarters. If you actually want to get a firearm in Kenya, you have to go to the CID.
But what I would say, Deno, is that this is the right direction, because we are outing some people now.
Right.
This menace, this disease has been a big problem.
Right.
That even apart from the North Rift, it has permeated in many areas now in Kenya.
Right.
But animal theft is one of the biggest problem in this country.
Really?
That people are now losing a lot of their animals. You wake up in the morning and you realize you had 6 or 7 cows. You don't have any. You wake up the next day, your neighbor doesn't have anything. And people have been wondering, how do we tame this issue? How do we
address it? Yes.
But now, if we can get the real people behind it,
yes,
and make an example of them,
yes,
then even the boys who are sent, because the boys are sent, and they're doing something.
Okay, quick. Let me just ask this question, CEO. Yeah. When these cows are rustled, right?
Yes, yeah.
Where are they taken to? Are they sold in a public auction place, in the slaughterhouse?
No. What happened is that the cattle are stolen.
Right.
They're taken to the Kerio Valley.
Right.
They are hidden there for some time.
Right.
Then they are sold to traders who do not know.
Or who do not care.
No, they just do. When someone comes and says, you're looking for animals, I have 6 cows or 10 cows.
Yeah.
And from my ranch. And I want to sell for you one at 50,000. You don't know whether this cow is his or not. It's some months later.
Right.
Apparently, these animals had been stolen. This man was just keeping them.
So you just innocently buy these cows?
They come here to Dagoretti, too many slaughterhouses.
Too many slaughterhouses.
And the people, that's the meat you find in your plates.
Yeah, in your butchery.
The city, in towns, in every area. But the real person who have struggled to
raise them, to breed them, to feed them,
to graze them.
Yeah.
Earns nothing. And most of them is destruction. The homes are burnt down. Mm-hmm. The people are killed. Mm-hmm. Because when they attack, they do not come there in peace.
Yeah.
They come to cause destruction.
Yeah.
So you lose lives and you lose even livelihood. So it's really sad that people can be in the police force who are supposed to protect, guard, and guide, and also to be the eyes of the utumishi kwa wote, but they're the people who actually send guns for people.
They are the bandits themselves. Yeah. It's very unfortunate. And I think we should just try to point out that the vetting process of getting this policeman. This is what there was an article that I read last week, CEO, and it was talking about how we have. It was talking about the public of corruption in Kenya and how when there is police enrollment, that enrollment process, people can pay up to $2,000 or $1,500 in order to get their person to be picked and to be assigned a job as a police officer. And I think that this is the consequence of such corruption.
Yeah.
We have people who are diabolical, people who have not been vetted, people who have malign intentions, and people who do not comprehend or understand what their role is in our society. Because they are the ones who are supposed to safeguard the community. But now, because they have found a loophole, instead of reporting that loophole, instead of closing it, they have taken advantage of it. And this is another issue, is potentially we should pay policemen police better.
Yeah,
because this greed or this malfeasance from their part is as a result of poor pay.
Yeah.
If they were properly paid, they wouldn't have resorted or thought of indulging in such activities.
Education CS Julius Ogamba has downplayed the impact of the ongoing lecturer strike.
Right.
And is saying that most universities remain operational despite few suspending classes.
Is he kidding?
I'm telling you. And then he says he also confirmed that capitation has been disbursed to accredited institutions as the ministry finalizes the data to verification exercise.
What is he talking about? These lecturers,
Yeah.
they spent a lot of years in school,
Yeah.
and it is sad how they are not
Treated well.
In terms of remuneration, because a lecturer's worth is not just on how educated and his knowledge, but it's also supposed to be in tandem with his pockets. And if his pockets is in a liawoye, that's a problem. So I don't understand what the CS is talking about. It's not like lecturers will turn out go injured and start doing tuition. This is not primary school.
No secondary school.
This is not secondary school. I'll on weekends.
I'll give you something.
Yeah, I'll give you something. This is very sad, and it's a problem that the government does not understand how vital it is to keep our professors happy, because this is where real skills are actually transferred. See, when you're in high school, you do a bunch of
subjects.
Units, a bunch of subjects.
Yeah.
But it is when you are mature that you narrow down and focus on, let's say, becoming a doctor. You need someone who's qualified, happy, and competent. And unfortunately, what we are observing is that the government couldn't care less about paying these people. Well, it is a very sad affair, quite honestly.
It's actually sad because the parents also expect their kids to go to school.
Yes.
And the parent investment, and you are telling me that there's a controversial issue when you feel that parents feel that when you educate your kids, you feel like you should get money back from
so obviously
what you spent.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, there is the issue of investing in our children.
Yeah.
And I think this was another issue that was raised, that there is unmet or unexpected expectations from our parents. When a parent takes a child to the university or to high school or to even primary school, in the olden days, traditionally, and it was conventional, that you went to school, got educated, and then in return, the society sort of expected you to take care of the parents in their old age. It was an achievement. Mm-hmm. It was expected. That's not the case anymore because of the scarcity of how difficult it is to get jobs.
Yeah.
So now parents need to manage the expectations. You need to educate your children without expecting a payback. A payback. And that's what do you think? I don't know. Is this something, first of all, that you have witnessed?
I've witnessed, and it's a case of the egg and the chicken story, because sometimes even the children or the young men and women are really willing to help their parents.
Yes, I mean as you should.
Struggling,
yeah,
to get to some money, but ends cannot meet because their needs only.
Yeah.
And the jobs they are doing cannot allow them to spare even a coin
Yeah.
for their parents.
See, the reason why I'm telling you this here is because there was a gentleman.
Yeah.
There was an article that was written there that I was reading it on the internet, where a young man had just gotten a very good job.
Yeah.
It was paying him not too much, less than 100K, but over 50K. And he had loaned his parents 10K. Every month it was 50K, 20K, 10K. And then the parents sort of became frustrated when the son decided not to give their parents any more funds. And the young man's reasoning was that, hey, listen, I also have to build my life. I also have to get out of this house and stay by myself. I also have needs XYZ that I have to meet. And there was a bit of a disconnect there because the parents came to this child with entitlement that, hey, listen, we just took you to school, high school, we paid all of it. We also took you to university, we paid all of it. Now it's time for you to pay back the hand that fed you. All right? And so you can see that there is that issue of some parents feeling entitled to gain from the young people, from their kids, once they have started earning. And I don't think that that's I don't think it's sensible. I think it's sensible that young people also, when your parents have obviously, sacrificed too much and so much to ensure that you get quality education, to ensure that you go and get exposed in universities and hang out with other peers. I think it is reasonable that if you are in a position to do some good, when you visit your parents, take a shopping, do some shopping, sukari usiende mkono mtupu ulambwi. So it's kind of one of those things where young people should find it advisable to appreciate their parents, but also parents need to find it reasonable not to expect that it is time for them to reap the benefits of the sacrifice of taking these kids to higher institutions.
It's true, but you see what happens is that it's important for parents to manage their expectations, which is okay, but also there's a group of young men women out there who are in good jobs, who are doing fantastically well.
Yes.
And they have forgotten
where they came from.
They came from.
Yeah.
So our argument is, if you know you are in that space where you are earning good money, you are well paid, and you can take care of yourself and take care of your siblings.
Customarily, you're expected to do
then
good.
We expect you to look back to your parents and uplift them.
Yes, especially if they are not doing well. Yeah.
But we are telling parents, if your sons do not get enough money even to feed themselves,
or they don't have a job,
or even to feed themselves,
yes, exactly,
you do not have a right
to
ask them to pay back what you spent on them.
Yes.
That's my argument.
It is unreasonable.
It's totally unreasonable.
It is totally unreasonable.
But also I know people who go to clubs where we patronize, and you want to drink Johnny Walker Black, 3 bottles every day, 4 bottles every weekend.
And you invite your friends.
And you invite your friends with nyamachoma, and their mother is staying in
starving somewhere.
In a leaking roof.
Exactly. That's when wewe
or a grass-thatched house. Wewe ni kumbafu tu. Yeah.
Hakuna kitu ingine.
There's no difference.
Na hatutasema mambo ingine.
Yeah, we can't say
tutasema vile ilivyo.
Is totally sick.
Yeah.
And you are here driving a sleek Range Rover, a sleek Mercedes-Benz, and you never take that woman to hospital.
Absolutely. In these modern times, we are seeing more young people, especially those who are making money. They kind of want to show off and act social like media. They are very successful. But I think they are forgetting this very important adage that charity begins at home. And if you cannot be able to take off your homestead, wewe tu ni kubafu ya mtu.
Yeah, so we are saying, if you do not have money, please, it's okay.
It's okay. And parents should not put a lot of pressure on you. And those parents who are doing that, you should cease and desist.
But
from doing that.
Yeah, but if you have so much money and you're just going to club hopping with beautiful girls, and
getting approval for people
in the social media,
this is the issue
TikTok.
of Nini. there are people who are just deprived of approval.
Yeah.
They want approval from the public. It's like, nah, go get approval from your parents. That's more. It's got
Genuine,
more gravitas.
it's
Yes, it's legit.
Yeah. So I think they know we've had a very good afternoon.
We've had a very good afternoon.
Fantastic show today.
Fantastic show.
It's always
We've
a pleasure
had
having you in this building.
Thank you.
And we really enjoyed. We talked about many issues. We talked about the bandits.
The bandits in uniform.
We've talked about reflections on Professor Arthur Obel. And
the gentleman who brought it to our attention that there is a disease rummaging through our streets of Nairobi.
Yeah, and also we discussed the issue of the High Court has that order at a hospital.
He actually said, and to that point, he actually said that it was illegal for any hospital to remain and confiscate. I don't know, to detain anyone's body.
Yes,
if they have not been able to fully pay their bills.
Yeah, and it is sad because the Mater Hospital refused to release the body of a 3.3 million of a medical bill. So Justice Sifuna has opened up Pandora's box.
Wachilieni
maitiza watu bwana. It's
tabia mbaya hiyo.
Yeah, we do not
capitalism at its worst.
And also we had a very good one when we thought of Kaluma. The boy,
Kaluma.
Man.
I think Kaluma took the highlight of the show.
Yeah.
And we definitely encourage many other people to reach out and follow in the footsteps of that young man, reaching out to... And exactly. See, the last story that we have shared is now people like Kaluma observing that even without the resources of taking my parents to go to the hospital, he's still going and reaching out on social media platforms such that he can be able to help his parents. Now, that is a good exemplar, a role model in the society.